Hello, and welcome to the Swift Talk. I'm Kait, the Swiftie.
And I'm not so swift Sam, the Sam that is not so swift.
The Sammy.
The Sammy.
We might be psychic.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yep.
Why do you say that, though?
So, scrolling through my TikTok, and I see our girl, Ellen Pompeo.
Okay.
Better
Grey.
known as...
Mm-hmm.
Better known as...
Grey.
Meredith.
Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy.
On the Jennifer Hudson show. And, Jennifer's been getting some really good Taylor Swift content these days.
Really?
Well, we had the SZA where SZA was like, I want to write with Taylor. Like, that would be so cool. Like, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So, Ellen's chatting up Jennifer. And Jennifer's like, somehow Taylor came up. And she's like, oh, I got so much cred with my girls. I was in the Bad Blood music video. I actually had never met Taylor before. She called me up. It was a great experience. 2 hours of my life in this crazy video, in, out. She's like, so while I was there, and I've never met this woman, I pitched the charity that Ellen and her husband had been really involved in with Children's Hospital, where it was helping parents record themselves singing lullabies, reading stories, talking to their NICU babies, because a lot of times parents couldn't be there all the time, and it was having like really big impact on the development of these premature babies. So Ellen tells Taylor about it and asks for a donation, a fairly large one, and Taylor's like, yep, no problem, writes her a check. And so last week we were talking about the Taylor Swift Foundation that we're very excited for her to start, which I would love to work for, Taylor. And I was like, wow, now we're still like, here's another story of like the charitable works that Taylor Swift does.
And this is Bad Blood era?
1989.
Yeah, so this is more 10 years or so ago. Yeah.
Ellen goes, I didn't even know her. I didn't even know her. And she wrote me a fat check. And Swifties across the border like, she named her cat after you. You could have asked her for anything.
Whoa. Her cat's name isn't Ellen.
It's Meredith. Same thing.
Well, it's different. She goes on, she gets hired to do a music video.
Because
in and out 2 hours, hadn't met this person before.
Well,
so she gets to meet her, and the first thing she does is like, hey, I have an idea for a good cause. Do you want to jump on board? Yeah. That claps. That makes sense. That's great.
I mean, it's a natural fit for Taylor. She likes to help kids. She's into music. Like,
also, Grey's Anatomy's in like its 50th season. Like,
I know.
All these actors that are doing like, we're actually doing a medical charity right now. Dempsey's got his. Right across the river, he's jumping on board and doing all that stuff. Like,
the Dempsey
Taylor
Center
should be doing it. Swift surgeries. No?
The Swift Minute Clinic.
The Swift Minute. No. Bad. No. As much as I'd like to be in and out of a Taylor Swift song, like medical, no.
You would definitely get some bad blood in that clinic.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we need some
The
O
bad
positives
blood
right here. That's a little O negative, if you ask me. AB positive.
Well, she has the money to donate because of her business acumen. We got a book, guys.
There's nothing like this. The Strategic Genius of Taylor Swift by Kevin Evers.
Yes, Kevin Evers, who is a
Harvard
review editor, broke down all the different eras about like how Taylor was successful, and his findings in the book, I'm not all the way through it, but I've read through enough of it, are like, she shouldn't have been a country music star when she came up. When Taylor was coming up through country music, she was really coming up at the like bro country, Eric Church, Keith Urban, Rascal Flatts type of, Trex, Beer, and God. And, boppy little blonde country singer wasn't really selling at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're talking about, he talks a lot about her, like, the way she interacted with her fans, the way she built her brand, the way, like, timing kind of struck just right and she grabbed opportunities. Taylor was never afraid to try something. And It's a really fascinating book on the business of Taylor, written by somebody who's not a fan. It's not like, it's somebody who's a little more objective about the trajectory of Taylor's career. It was fascinating. So if you haven't gotten a copy yet, you can get it anywhere you buy books.
There's nothing like this book.
No, and I was pretty impressed with it. I was reading it the other day.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like if she's coming up with country, and yes, she is the outlier when it comes to it, and then she starts to turn the profit, and then she becomes more and more popular. She's making more and more of the profit. There's no way they're gonna ever let her pivot because now country music is back on the map because of Dr. Taz.
And when you go back into it, like when she started with Big Machine Records, like she was the first artist they signed. Like her dad bought in. She grew with the record label, but when your show pony wants to be I don't know, a rodeo pony, you're like, absolutely not.
Well, yeah. Well, it's kind of like that oversaturation we talk about when it comes to like Disney and stuff. When's that bubble gonna burst? If you have the TV series that's the superhero series, like, okay, why is it different than everybody else? Well, because it has nothing to do with being a superhero. Well, what? She's different enough in country, and she's different enough when it came to being a pop star, because it's not just like it's not just I'm making a pop album. It's Taylor Swift is doing pop. It's the whole dynamic, the whole story, and like why it's different. And so why does it sound different? Well, it's Taylor's different.
Well, and I think, and we talk about this a lot because there's been business classes and all sorts of college classes about Taylor, but she really has defined what it means to be in the business of arts. And she is her own one-woman conglomerate.
Sure.
And you're like, this book was really fascinating to see somebody, Harvard, be like, hey, wait a minute, like this kid came up and she marketed herself using the cutting edge tools of the time, like Tumblr and MySpace. And she was on there and she was interacting with her fans and asking what they wanted to hear and, making it interactive. And she tailors. So she would send Christmas gifts to people in need, or she would do things for fans who needed her. And then as that like lore grew, her fans were the loyalty of her fans was really strong, and that allowed her to cross genres like she did, but it also allowed her to do the re-record, which while I was reading this, I kind of was like, oh, let me go back through some of this re-record stuff because I'm a little like, it's always good to get a refresher. And I came across a Kelly Clarkson interview where they were talking about how, like, because Kelly tweeted, Taylor, just like record your own work, slap something new on it, slap some new artwork on it, call it a day. And Kelly's like, I got the idea from Reba, who was her former mother-in-law. And Reba wanted to own her masters and did that. And, it's always interesting to see like how the women in music have quietly paved the way for other women. And now Taylor's like, absolutely not. Pave the way. Let's do this. Don't get taken advantage of.
Yeah, if they pave the road, she's laying down the tarmac right now and building it wider. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, she's like, we're not doing this anymore. And so it's just really fascinating to kind of see like where she started and how even, because I think now you look at her and you're like, oh yeah, she's always kind of been a thing. Like it's always been Taylor Swift, but she wasn't. Like she was, the first opening act of 4 or 3. She was at the smallest stage on the country festivals with her own little banner. Like she really, really worked and put her time in, and she cultivated the fan base that we are now.
Yeah.
So this book is great if you want to like deep dive into like kind of the business aspect or the just take a different view of being a Swiftie. It's also great for when people are like, Taylor, okay. Like, well, actually, let's talk some numbers.
Oh, you can't argue with numbers, can you?
You can't argue with numbers.
Anything else new with the girl?
Oh, yeah. So Record Store Day is coming up, end of the month. Jason sent me what Taylor's releasing, which is a Fortnite vinyl. But in celebration of Record Store Day, they release like the top selling vinyls of this decade. And 3 of the top 5 are Taylor.
Variety.
We've got number 1, Midnights. Number 2, Tortured Poets. And now, do you think 3 is a Taylor's version or a fresh version?
A Taylor's version or a fresh version?
Yeah, like an Evermore Folklore.
It's going to be a Taylor's version.
You want to guess which one?
It's 89?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Rounding out the top 5, we had Harry Styles, Harry's House at number 3, and a David Bowie at number 5. legendary. And then they put all sorts of fun facts about how vinyl is really having a resurgence. And
It really is.
thanks to
The Swift Talk. Oh, thanks to Midnights. Yeah.
Taylor, but sure. According to most sources, in 2024, they sold 5 times the amount of vinyls they sold in 1994.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. 1994 was battling CDs.
Yeah.
Cassettes, everything that was smoking it out of it, that was cheaper to make, more accessible, more convenient to have. You can't have record players in your car, unfortunately.
I mean, not with that attitude. Maybe I'll get a record player. That could be fun.
Yeah, put it right next to your Betamax and your Laserdisc, and you'll be ready to more. And
Yeah, I think my neighbors would love me having a new way of playing Taylor Swift.
be a DJ. One microphone. That's where it's at.
Wow, they'd really enjoy that. Just one Taylor song into the next Taylor song into the next Taylor song.
Go. There you go. You'll be
Boy.
building your own. You'll be building your own playlist in no time.
Boy. Sure, that would go over real well. So, yeah, that's what I got in Taylor verse.
All right, cool.
I don't remember last week, did we talk about how Taylor has a new sort of niece?
No, a new sort of niece.
Kylie and Jason Kelsey have welcomed their 4th child into the world. Finley Ann.
Finley Ann.
This is a big thing. We had Wyatt, we had Bennett, we had Elliot, and now we have Finley. No double T's.
Double T's.
No.
Well, Fintley doesn't really roll off tongue.
Nope. Taylor liked the post. So, yeah.
Cool.
Can you imagine? This child's never going to know a world without Aunt Tay in it. I guess that probably does roll right into.
I don't even want to be here anymore.
Do you perhaps hate it here?
That's what the song title is, okay? For whatever reason, I was thinking of a quote from Massimo's, but really from TV. I don't want to be here anymore. I think you should leave. You ever seen that show?
Yes, I have.
Okay. They had the prank one where they dress him up and like, oh, I'm doing the prank thing. He's just walking around miserable. Is it the suit? I don't want to be around anymore. I hate it here. The actual.
Hate it here.
I hate it here.
Track number 23.
23.
From Tortured Poets.
All these T's.
The Tortured Poets department, to be exact. So we're going to hit pause. You hit pause. Check out the Tortured Poets department anthology.
What? Come on. I will accept acumen. I love that drop of verbiage when you were talking about the book. But we're throwing anthology. Okay.
It is. It's called the anthology.
Okay.
Remember, you got the first 15 tracks at midnight. The second 15 tracks of the...
I didn't ask for this.
I might hate it here. Come on, wrinkle that brain.
All right.
We'll be right back, guys. Well, judging from the face you just made at me,
Whoa,
I would say that
whoa.
you think the song is a 10. Great. Wow.
This song is a
Thanks
10
for listening to this.
tiv 0. Okay.
Oh, my.
What, do you want us to lie? Taylor wouldn't want us to lie.
Taylor and I hate it here.
This is such a pretentious homage to garbage. Come on, dude. This song is literally the equivalent of I'm starting a conversation with you so I can be the only one speaking, and then I'll bring it back to you.
So Taylor's acting like a man?
Sure. A garbage. This isn't a 10. This is a Tate. This is an Andrew Tate. This is a.
Anyway.
No.
Why do you hate this song?
All right. Where do you want to start? I think that it would have been better if it was strictly an acoustic song, for one. I think that everything else that they added on it deteriorated it.
Oh, see, I actually disagree. I liked the production of the song, and which is weird because you usually love an Aaron Dessner song. You usually, at the least, love his production of it. I liked it because I thought the lyrics were very Secret Garden-y. Like, it was very debutante. It's very much like...
Well, do you say secret garden and
Disassociate.
debutante because she says secret garden and debutante in this song?
Yes, but it's very disassociation. That's it.
This
Like
this song is very
disassociating from her
disassociated.
real
This song
life.
is very disassociated.
Yeah, but she's
I wish it was the 1830s, except with all the racists.
yeah. She got some flack for that.
I don't see why. Who'd she get flack from? Just critics? Just people that were listening? Just Pulse people? Fans who hate? Who slagged her on this? Who slagged her on that?
So many.
Was it everyone?
People felt that it was she missed a mark there.
Really?
Yeah, without all the racists.
Well, because it'd be 1830s without the racists, but she's living in the palace.
Yep. And apparently, you know how it was a
Interesting.
big part of the culture with, you know, the racism, slavery, the 1830s.
Interesting, yeah.
Can you clarify something for us?
Do I
Kate?
want to?
Is this okay? So this was on the Tortured Poets album.
Yes, the back half.
Back half, is it like this? Like when she sends and prints a second version of the album?
Yes. So at midnight, we got the first 15,
Okay.
and then we got 16 more at 2 a.m.
Is it a whole different album that came out?
Well, no. So there's midnight, so like Midnights, there was 2 parts of Midnights. Remember?
Yes.
There's 2 parts of Tortured Poets.
Would you consider this more of a vault track?
No, it's an anthology track.
But it didn't make it on the first grouping.
Right. So like when she submits it, I believe, I could be wrong, I'm like 90% certain, she submits just the Tortured Poets, which is the first 15. But for the fans and like we got the whole thing later. So like Tortured Poets, the first 15
is like the A+ tracks,
yeah, and then this is the
B tracks.
You know how Stephen King does anthology books, and some of them are like, these are short stories from my desk. And this is one that I published in Playboy for a check because I needed $1,000.
So I think you guys are really like not giving this song enough credit.
Well, no, I gave a very simplistic, very odd perspective analogy of what I'm relating this to. But if you want to look at the content of the song, I'm happy to do that. Quick, tell me something awful, like you are a poet trapped inside the body of a finance guy.
That is awful.
How so?
Well, clearly you haven't dated a finance guy.
You know what? I have not dated a finance guy.
I mean,
Tell us what it's like, Kate.
But they're a poet?
well, you're like,
Listen, I crunch the numbers, but all I want to do is just speak an iambic pentameter. All I want to do is just write my name with 2 initials, all lowercase. What I want to... No.
I would love to answer the question, but I can't get a
do.
word in here.
Doesn't that feel a lot like this song?
No.
Quick, tell me something awful.
Like you're a poet trapped inside the body of a finance guy. Like that's the thing. Like you have this guy and he's like, I'm a poet. I'm soft. I'm sensitive, but I'm a finance guy. I'm a finance bro, but I'm really a poet. Like it's just sometimes you are not going to understand a reference. That's okay. You haven't had that life experience. You can't shoot down people's life experience because you will never experience it.
Are you saying I don't get the reference of somebody being like, you know, I do work at a restaurant, but what I really am is a comedian?
But no, but that's not like, no, that's too simplistic. That's
exactly what it is.
No, it's not.
Tell me something.
I'm
Tell me something
trying.
awful. Like you're trying to escape this
You
cage,
won't let
right?
me tell you though. You guys just keep interjecting.
I don't get the reference. Tell me.
May I?
Please.
So when you say like, it's not like I'm a waiter, but I'm really a comedian, because those two things are true. But when what she's saying is you're something that is so polar opposite. It's like saying it's an artist and a finance guy. Like you're saying like you live in this bro culture. I'm a barstool guy, but I'm really a poet. Like you can't, these things don't interject. Like you can't, it's hard to see you be both. You can't be Dave Portnoy and a poet. You can't.
Don't tell him that. I'll put on a t-shirt.
Getting canceled by Dave Portnoy might be the best thing that happens to this podcast.
So is it?
I'm okay with that.
But is it? Give me the line. Quick, tell me something awful, like your worst freaking line.
Yeah,
quick, tell
that's
me something
it.
awful,
That's exactly.
Like what I really am is this.
No, it's a line. It's like, I'm not a finance bro. I'm a poet. It's like telling what you think they want to hear, but it's the exact mirror of what you are. And it's somebody saying like, I'm not a Capricorn. I'm a zebra. Like, it's just like you can't, it's not even a zodiac. Like, how do you.
I mean, I'd identify as Sasquatch on the zodiac chart.
Well, it just explains a lot. But like, that's the kind of thing. It's like a line. It's like, no, I'm not really this. I'm what you want me to be. Okay.
All right. If we're going with that for the argument.
That is the argument.
And then we look at the rest of this song.
Yeah, tell me all your secrets, because all you're ever going to be is my internal consolation prize. Like, you're never going to be enough. You're never going to understand me. Like, you're never going to be what I need you to be, because you're telling me that you're a tortured poet, but you're really a finance guy. Like, you can't be what I need you to be. And I may want you to be that. Like, I may want to believe that that's who you are in your pores, but like, it's not. And like, doesn't matter how much I love you or how much I try to like believe that you are or fix you. You can't be who you aren't.
It's interesting that you said how much I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have on the one side, the one verse, tell me all your secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And the other verse, I have my secret garden that has a special key and I'm the only one with the key.
Mm-hmm.
No one else can get into the garden. I've made it so no one else gets in.
She's
so
protected
it's
herself.
The surface level of love. It's not that full love that's saved inside.
Well, that's why like
on the moon.
That's why it will never work. Like, neither are being honest. Like, she disassociates. She goes in on herself. She has completely cut everybody else around her off. She used to be a debutante and now she's afraid to go outside. And like,
in a past life.
Think about it, like 1989, like she was on top of the world, and then Taylor Swift got canceled and she was in hiding for 2 years.
Okay.
So like, you can see like why she would have some fears of the outside forces. Like, you have to like look a little bit deeper, like maybe pull back the onion a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to pull back the onion, but to be fair, she was never in house arrest. She was never in fear of her life.
I think that's not saying she was never in fear of her life is probably not a fair statement.
1989. I'm not talking about a concert that happened that got canceled.
No, but she's had crazy stalkers then too.
Sure,
like,
sure.
There are people who break into her house and end up in her bed. I think it's some like low level fear for her life.
Okay. Yes.
I don't think you can put that out there. Like, pre 1989, was she afraid like that? Probably not to that extent.
Okay.
She wasn't anywhere near as famous.
And maybe that's the thing, is I'm not considering not the naivety, but the inexperience with the grandiose of I am a giant phenomenon in this world and not everyone's going to always have my best interest. And a lot of people that I don't know, it's not like I'm reaching out to the fans anymore. I can reach out to a fan who's going to turn around and go,
yeah.
Like,
well,
scary.
I mean, she didn't know if they were friend or foe. Like, you open up your Twitter and you see that you've been mentioned, and it could be, oh my God, this Taylor Swift song I just discovered is amazing, or Taylor Swift should die. I mean, I literally was telling somebody today that I was going to record this podcast, and they were like, is there even that much to talk about, Taylor Swift? So, like, there's a whole gamut here. But like, I read about it in a book when I was a precocious child. No mid-sized city dreams or small town fears. Like, she went to Nashville, mid-sized city. She came from a small town. Like, and now, you can't, like, that's not for her anymore. Like, she can't have mid-sized city dreams because she's on the top of the world right now. Like, she can't have small town fears because she's got to worry about somebody breaking into her home. And not like we worry about it, like worried about somebody doing it because they think they belong there.
Well, what she's saying, she can't even have the fantasy of like when she was a kid and would try to escape the fantasy of being like, I would go back in time and I would do this. Can't have that anymore.
No, you can't. Like, and the naivete of being like, yeah, I'd go to the 1930s without all of that bad stuff. And then she goes on to be like, but I'd hate it there too. That was a terrible time too. Like, nostalgia is a mind trick where you're just like, well, if I look back in the past, it's like that. There's a TikTok trend that was I took my younger self to coffee, and it's about like being where you are now, taking the younger version of you out and like seeing who they were and them seeing where you are and like that juxtaposition. It's almost like this, like when she was little, you would like romanticize being an adult and where you would be. And like when you're an adult, you can't really romanticize like being old because that's not great. Like there's just this weird thing about being in your 30s where you're like, oh, okay, well, what is there to romanticize coming down the pike?
I mean, I'm in a Scully cat, man.
Yeah.
This says I've been to every brewery in the area. Like, this is, yeah, she's in her 30s. She's got to accept where she is and really who she is.
And what the world is, what her world is.
Sure.
And like, I mean, for us, sure, like there is still things to do.
So that's
but
the thing.
For
Is like,
Taylor Swift,
are you accepting that I can only escape into my brain and I'm not a, like, what is she trying to accept in this? Because it kind of feels like, are you saying you accept that you are the, is it just, is the lyrical content of a lot of these songs like the real truth and we keep getting more of that?
I think this is her, like when you peak, like you can't relate to the person she's with. You don't think they're honest with you about who they are. You don't know how to communicate with anybody anymore. So you dissociate. You go into where you know you're safe. You go into your world. You pull yourself back and you don't build the relationships because you don't want to deal with the fallout or what could be an outcome. And it's very much, interesting to see her talk about this in a way in a post-COVID world where everybody kind of got isolated but learned to kind of like go inward. And so now that we're out of that and we're back to being with people and back to being social and meeting people and doing things, how do you marry the two? Like, how do you still have that place where you're safe and secure, but you're not just disassociating through life?
So it feels like she's writing this, the character of Taylor is the Willy Loman. It's Death of a Salesman. They are a tragic figure.
And I think in some ways, like Taylor Swift, the pop star, is a tragic figure.
I think the character is definitely a tragic figure.
I mean, as a human, I don't think so. I think she has figured out how to have a life. Like we haven't seen her, but we've heard that she's been places, but it's not like a big like she lives a life very successfully outside of the public eye. She knows how to do it. To what expense of her mental health or her happiness, we don't know. But Taylor Swift, the pop star, when you're out there performing and you're selling your albums, you're selling your vinyls, you're selling your merch, you're selling your tour, you're selling your tours, video, documentary, whatever it is, you have to be Taylor Swift. And so like to be Taylor Swift, the pop star, do you then have to disassociate for a little while and go in on yourself to kind of feel safe again when you're out there being criticized for the costumes you're wearing, being criticized for canceling a show because of a potential terrorist attack, being criticized for using a lyric in a song that you wrote, or being criticized for just being Taylor Swift.
So you got to look at it like your riffraff.
Yeah, like
my main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
Yeah, like how do you be a pop star?
Exactly. How do you get to the top of Mount Olympus?
And live there. I mean, she's been living there for 5 years and like just churning out music. And like, it's got to be isolating and lonely. She went through 2 massive breakups in the middle of all of this too, where everybody had an opinion. I think if I had gone through like that kind of chaos and had the whole town talking about it, I would be disassociating into my little private garden in my mind and living a very insular existence too. And she's doing it with her face on a tabloid. You can't even like put a disguise on and go to the grocery store. There's you.
So I guess one of the questions I got to ask is, the weight of your shoulders being Taylor Swift, sure. She did start for years doing the reach out, talking to people, trying to, Taylor lurking. did it become just too difficult to do that when now there's even more proof of like you reached out to Kait, Kait shared the post, this is what you said, and that nullifies all the gossip and stuff, or does that create more of the gossip? Or
I think it's with great power comes great responsibility. I don't think she knew. I think she was, when she started, it was different. And I think, if you had asked her, even in the Red era, if you had said to her, this is where you'll be in 2025, she'd be like, okay, sure. I don't think that you can anticipate or imagine that kind of growth in popularity and stardom. Like, that's just kind of like lightning in a bottle. If it hadn't been for COVID and for Folklore and Evermore, would Taylor Swift be where she is now? I don't think so.
Oh, she's in Montana.
Wyoming? Who could say? But like, would she be the pop star that she is today? Would she, like, who knows? We got Lover. Lover did not lead anybody to believe that we would have gotten into Evermore Folklore. Like, would she and Joe still be together because they would have been able to continue living parallel lives? They wouldn't have been locked in a house together. Like, what would have happened? Would we have had an Eras tour? Would she have re-recorded her music to the success? Like, who knows? And I think it's like, because if you think about it, the Lover tour was only 4 dates. And it wasn't just Taylor. It was like supposed to be more billed as a festival. Like, I don't know if I think Taylor was kind of winding down her pop star. And I think when she put out Folklore, she thought that the fans would like it as like a fun passion project. I could be very wrong here. I don't know if she would have seen it doing what it did culturally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Folklore and Evermore.
Sure. I mean, that's how the whole argument started, was there's going to be another album.
We wouldn't have been doing this if it wasn't for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you never know when lightning strikes. And I think that's kind of what this is about. Like, she doesn't know who to be, but she knows where she's safe and she goes there and she's disassociating. And is it healthy? No. Is it productive? No. But is it what she has to do? Yeah. And so, like, on the surface, it's kind of one of those songs. But I think when you, like, listen to it and you immerse yourself in it, you get a better feel for where Taylor was. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of where she was with Joe in this relationship that seemed perfect. But he said he was a poet and he was really a finance guy. And then you get Maddie Healy, who said he was a poet and he was just a trash human. So you're always going to be the consolation prize. Like, you want the best, but you've prepared yourself for the worst. It's dead air. They can't see us.
I was getting into a habit of constantly interjecting, so I really wanted to give that room to breathe. All right. I don't like this song.
I know you don't.
And it does feel like the everything I definitely don't enjoy about Taylor.
Yes.
Wrong moves in my mind. Maybe it's because I'm the man.
I think maybe it's just because you haven't. Taylor gets a lot of flack from coming from a white woman perspective, which I always laugh. It always makes me, like, it just cracks me up. And this album particularly, like, well, she's coming from a privileged white woman perspective. And I go, yeah, that's who she is. So yeah, like, I get that. And this is why I think Tortured Poets is such an interesting album, because it's not made to be a widely or a universally understood or felt album. This isn't something that's going to speak to every single person. It's kind of for those fans who have been there with her, who are like, I disassociate
really
like that
angst,
too.
That really feel the life of the tortured poet.
Yeah.
Sure, okay.
Like those.
So this album then is more like what she originally thought Folklore would be like. Oh, the fans will really get it. And this is more like, this is really only for the fans. And that's all. So now we're releasing 32 songs.
31.
Jeez, I'm Crow.
Well, and like you hear people be like the newer Swifties or the Swifties are casual, are like, yeah, that tortured that is it. Those songs sound alike. And we're like, well, actually, yeah. I mean, it's like this. I feel really would not her taking the break that she is taking after releasing Tortured Poets. The time that we have gone without new music really makes a lot of sense to me after this because
18
it's
months?
no, it's been a year. It's been like 350 days. Like, I think the Tortured Poet turns a year old next week, but it's not a big deal. We've got a year. It's been real rough.
Torture.
But like, I mean, throughout that year, we also had the Eras tour. So now we're just like, we've gone 4 months without the Eras tour or new music. You know, we're getting a little itchy. I'm fine. I'm still happily like living in my Midnight's Tortured Poets.
The
streaming.
fans are going through withdrawal. Taylor's withdrawing into her mind.
I'm not going through withdrawal. I'm just happy to finally be able to spend some time with these albums that I've been like, okay, new album. Okay. New album, new vault songs. Okay. I'm like, you know what? I haven't been ready I'm closer to being ready for it.
Boom, boom. Speaking of being ready for it, each and every week we roll.
We're not.
What?
No.
You can't just interject me. I can only interject you. You can't just interject.
It was fun for me.
What are we doing?
We're gonna do Crazier off the Hannah Montana soundtrack.
What?
I thought it would be a fun.
So, the Hannah Montana soundtrack from, I'm going to guess, the Hannah Montana movie.
Uh-huh.
I will never see another mountain.
Yep.
That one?
That soundtrack.
Taylor's on that?
Yep.
Is Taylor in the movie?
I know.
But Taylor's on the album.
Yeah, she also wrote a song, and I thought about doing that one. Maybe we'll do both. We'll see.
So, Taylor was a Disney kid.
A peripheral Disney kid. She was
Adopted. She's adopted.
She dated a Jonas, friends with Selena, friends with Miley. They were all
lead with dated a Jonas.
Well, we have to because
you don't
that's
start at the bottom of the resume.
No, you have to. That's where that's how you're like. That's how she met Selena. You gotta like walk you through the timeline. It's all about the timeline receipts.
Not here to break anyone's promise ring. Okay.
That's how she met Selena.
Crazier.
Yeah.
Okay. What a rip roaring time. This is probably 3-4 years in for Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, we're like, there's a lot of debate. We'll get into it next week about like, would this be on Fearless? Would this be on Speak Now? Like, where does this go in the which era? How do you put this in an era? Because she isn't re-recording it because it's a Disney property, and we know Disney. So yeah, we're gonna do a little Hannah Montana.
All right.
Oh, we can watch the movie too.
No. No.
Yeah.
No, Nietzsche. No.
Oh, or we can watch a scene where she does we can watch a scene.
So
That
she
could
is
be
in a
fun.
Disney movie.
Well, no, the song is.
Okay.
I might not. I actually know. I don't even know if I've ever seen the movie.
I've never watched a full-on Hannah Montana
I haven't
episode.
either.
I have not watched the movie. I've probably seen bits of scenes. That's about it. I know that she wears a wig.
I know that she's two people because she disassociates from pop star Miley
And
too.
she's the best of both worlds.
How fun!
All right, so we're going way off the beaten path.
Yeah, we're leaving our poetry era and we're going to our Disney era,
Okay, and this is written by and performed by Taylor?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
as all the best things are. So, if you haven't already, like, follow, subscribe, rate, review. Tell me why Sam Sammed today.
Yeah. Tell me why I memed. Tell Kait why I eyed. Tell Kait why I eyed in the comments.
Send your questions, concerns.
Yeah, send us some questions. Why should we be concerned about Sam? Let us know exactly what you're thinking and feeling. Let us know if you think that this is belonging in the repertoire of Taylor. Why isn't this played in concerts?
She's played it. This was a surprise song.
Oh, it's a surprise to me that it's from a Hannah Montana movie.
Oh, Crazier?
Yeah. Oh, that's
I
what
was
I'm
back
talking
in
about.
Tortured Poets.
Yeah, I know she played her Tortured Poet stuff. Now with 32
She might
more
have played
songs.
Crazier. I don't know. We'll have to look. We'll look it up. We'll get homework for next week. Somebody is listening or watching this and being like, Kait, you should know better. I should know better. I should. Thanks again for listening. I'm Kait the Swiftie.
I am Not So Swift Sam.
And we'll see you back here next week on the Swift Talk.